Hello you guys, and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and today I have a minimalist home office tour. This is typically where my husband Jake will work on stuff, but regardless, it was a room that we have not yet shown you yet, and it's definitely been a room that we've made a lot of progress on from when we first moved into this apartment, and so I want to hopefully give you some pointers about maybe things that you can do if you're struggling in a home office space, or even just to help you stay more focused and have a more positive attitude towards what you're doing in there. I do put out videos related to minimalism and healthy living 3 times a week, so if that's something that would be interesting to you, I'd love to have you here as a subscriber. So let's get into it. You might notice that there are these bookshelves in the back. When we first moved into this apartment 3 years ago, both of these bookshelves were completely filled, mostly with books, but also with other stuff too. And so we've really removed a lot of the excess. This one's mine, which is actually much worse, I guess. When we move to our next apartment, we're actually not even going to be moving this one into our apartment, but basically I've reduced the number of books I have a lot. For me, I think one of the best indicators was to be really realistic with myself about if I was going to read certain books, because some of them I think I was holding on to because I felt like I would, but I don't have the best track record for reading books. I mean, I'm working on my master's degree right now, so there's books for that, and then I teach, and so there's books for that. So I'm always reading, but just not really like books on my own terms, really. So I've got a few here, some of my favorite cookbooks, a few other things here. Most of them are somewhat related to history or travel, like some of my favorite hobbies. But regardless, I've gotten rid of a lot of them. These books are books that I use for reference, like a cookbook or travel book, or books I have not yet read but that I'm really excited to read and realistically think I will. I'm currently working on a couple right now, and I think that once I finish a book like that, I am going to try to pass it on, especially if someone's a big book fan or kind of a book collector. If you've got a good book, wouldn't you want to pass that on to others, whether it's like giving it to a school or local library who could benefit, or if you've got a friend in mind who might also like it? I would encourage you to spread the love and the knowledge. The basket that you might be able to see up there, it's a little bit blending in, but that basket there holds all of our greeting cards, and it actually is pretty full right now. I will want to be going through that a little bit, but I keep them all in one set place there. Got a picture there, and then my favorite little goal dolls where you color in one of the eyes when you set a goal, and then you color it in when you achieve it. We haven't achieved any of the goals, but they were like big picture life goals, so that's pretty fun. Keep those up there, but otherwise I don't really have a lot of knickknacks on mine. Now moving over to Jake's here. He is more of a baseball fan, so he's got a few knickknacks related to the White Sox, Chicago White Sox, but he has also gotten rid of a lot of that stuff too. He was really asking himself like what he valued in terms of, you know, did these individual knickknacks mean something to him? And I think one thing that could be a good point to think about when deciding about what knickknacks to keep, decide if having too many of them dilutes the significance. I first heard of this concept actually from the minimalist. Joshua Fields Milburn was describing how when his mother passed away, he had all of these things of hers and he only chose to keep a couple. And the reason for that, he felt like if he only took a couple things and kept those, he could take much better care of those and really value and treasure those items rather than having so many. Like if he took in 100 of her items or 500 of her items, he wouldn't have gotten the same value out of it. It might have been overwhelming and each item would not have meant as much. So I think that's something to think about. So I think Jake has done that with his sports memorabilia. He's got even fewer books than I have. We'll have no trouble fitting these on one bookshelf when we move to our next apartment. All right, now we're getting to the desk. We do have some stuff over here that you might see in the corner. That part is not very minimalist of us, but we are in the process of moving, and those are things from our classrooms. We're both teachers. That's what is in the corner, but right now let's talk about the desk. We've got a desktop computer here. Technically we do use our laptops more. This is nice for me to have in terms of backup with all the video files. I have a tendency of filling up my computer way too much. I've got a digital decluttering video I'll link up here if you want to know more about that. But we keep it pretty simple with what we have. It is typically Jake who's working here, but there's a desk lamp if you want some additional lighting. We've got a scanner, actually, and the scanner is a really great minimalist tool if you've got a lot of paper clutter. If you're trying to reduce the paper clutter in your life, you can actually scan files and convert them to digital files. Then you don't have to save the original paper copy, but you still have it. So I think that can be a helpful method for some, and Jake's been able to go through a lot of his papers from previous years and have it all kind of in one place, thus reducing the paper clutter. We also have a printer here, and we try to keep the desk as open as possible. I'm not always as good at my teaching desk at my school. That's something I am continuing to work on, but I think it just goes back to the idea of a clear space represents a clear mind. Clutter maybe represents a cluttered mind. And so trying to keep your workspace as clear as possible might motivate you to get the work done that you want to get done, and it might not be as stressful. So I think those can be benefits of having the clear desk space here. We have like a pencil cup and other things there, but we also have another spot in the house with them, so we've kind of simplified it and put it in a more central area. All right, and then the last part of the office I want to show you is our closet here. Now, as far as some quick backstory, when we first moved in this apartment, we had so much stuff that this entire room was just kind of like floor to ceiling stuff. Boxes we didn't get to unpack, extra things, we really had no idea what was in here even. And then kind of the next phase of that, once we made this space more hospitable, we dealt with some of the stuff that was in there. Then our next focus was to basically stuff all the other stuff in the closet. Then a more recent phase has been to really reduce some of the stuff that's in the closet, so we're not holding on to as much excess. And I'm happy with what we've done so far on simplifying it. So let's take a look. This, I guess, would be our storage space for the apartment. So you see, we're not really even utilizing all the space because we don't need to. So as I could put some of that stuff in the corner there, but we're just not going to worry about that. But basically, we only have our winter coats up here now. They're kind of put away for the season. We also have some of our, I don't know if you guys can see it down there, but we have some of our camping gear down below. My sleeping bags are on the other side, just in the ends. So then we also have a couple bins here. And so we each have one bin of our childhood stuff, basically. Mine is this bottom one. I also keep all my extra photos there. And then Jake's is right here. This is one of our files of papers that we have to go through with teacher problems. And I've got that green bin is where we keep gift wrap and also gifts that we plan on giving to other people, whether these are regifted items or things that come into our life that we don't want but know someone who would. It looks like a few other knickknacks in transit on top there. Up top here, these are the backpacks that we use when we're traveling. I'll actually link one of my playlists up here if you want to learn more about traveling like a minimalist, and we kind of show you how we do that. But that's essentially it here in this closet. So you can see we've got a lot of extra space that we're not using, and I'm really excited about that since it's been quite a journey. So there you guys go. That is our minimalist home office tour. Hopefully some of these tips might even be helpful for you in your own life or as you transition your spaces as well. Are there spaces in your home or apartment that you're struggling with? Or a certain type of item you can't get rid of, like books, for instance? If so, please let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to help support you or even make a future video on the topic. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!